Welcome to DSS online class. I am your English teacher Santosh sir, and today I present with the new chapter of An Alien Hand, chapter 3rd, Desert. Dear student, this is a very interesting lesson for you, and when you study about the desert, you know the climatic condition, the animal that live in the desert. Now start the lesson. A desert is generally without water and vegetation. Means it is the popular belief that a desert is the place where is no water and no vegetation. And second, a green patch with fresh water and green tree in the middle of vast desert is the beautiful sight. Means if there is a green patch and the fresh water are there, that sight is the very beautiful sight of the vast desert. A desert may be too hot or too cold, and a desert is a place where is either too hot or too cold. डेज़र्ट एक ऐसा प्लेस होता है जहाँ पे बहुत ज़्यादा गर्मी या बहुत ज़्यादा ठंडी होती है. Now start the lesson. Those of us who live in regions covered with forest and surrounded by hill may find it difficult to imagine what a desert is really like. Means the person who live in the forest and the surrounded by hills, that person cannot imagine about what the desert really is. The popular belief is that it is an endless stretch of sand where no rain falls and therefore no vegetation grows. And it is a popular belief that the desert is the endless stretch of sand and there is no rainfall, therefore no vegetations are there. It is dry, hot, waterless, and without shelter. And desert is the place where no waters are there and no shelters are there. But this is not entirely correct. But if you think about there is no vegetation, there is no shelter, that it is not correct. For those who have studied it, the desert can be the beautiful place. And the person who studied about the desert, they thought that desert is a beautiful place. It is a home of variety of people, and desert is the place where the home of variety of people, animals, and plants also that have learned to live under very hot and dry conditions. And the person or animal and plants that are in the desert, they live under very hot and dry conditions. मीन्स वे लोग या जानवर या प्लांट्स जो डेजर्ट में रहते हैं वह अपने आप को ड्राई और हॉट कंडीशन में रहने के लिए अपने आप को अनुकूलित कर लेते हैं. ट्रू, द ग्राउंड इज़ नॉट ऑलवेज हिडन बाई कवर ऑफ ग्रास एंड इट इज़ ट्रू दैट the ground is not always hidden by and covered of grass. Means in desert there is not all grasses are there and plants and tree as it is other climates, and there are other plants and trees are there that survive in that condition. But whenever it rains, which is rare, and in desert there is no rainfalls are there, and the rainfall is rarely happening there. Desert flowers bloom, the sight can be rewarding as any tropical garden, and there are some flowers are there in desert that bloom, and that site is the very beautiful site of the tropical garden. A desert is not always a flat. A desert is not always a flat, means the desert is not always flat surface. Unchanging wasteland of the dry sand, and the desert is unchanging wasteland of the dry sand. जो डेजर्ट होता है वह एक ड्राई सैंड की तरह होता है और वो चेंज नहीं होता है. इट मे हैव माउंटेन्स एंड हिल, एंड इन डेजर्ट देयर आर माउंटेन्स एंड हिल्स आल्सो. और वहाँ पे जो है जो डेजर्ट होता है वहाँ पे माउंटेन भी हो सकता है और हिल भी हो सकता है. इट मे हैव एन ओसिस, एंड इन डेजर्ट देयर हैव an oasis also, either big or small, and oasis may be big or small in the desert. An oasis is like a green island in middle of the desert where a spring or well gives plant and trees are better. An oasis is like a green island in the middle of the desert where a spring and wells are there and plants and tree are better chance to go, and there is the plants and trees are there that have a chance to go better. A desert may be hot like the Thar or cold like Ladakh, and here the writer said that a desert may be hot like Thar desert and cold like Ladakh. एक डेजर्ट जो होता है वह थार डेजर्ट की तरह गर्म हो सकता है और लद्दाख के जैसे ठंड भी हो सकता है. But generally speaking, if place has little or no water and vegetation, people usually call it desert. But in general way, we speaking that if there is the no water and no vegetation, we generally call it desert. Means अगर जनरल वे में हम कह सकते हैं कि द प्लेस वेयर इज नो वाटर एंड नो वेजिटेशन, दैट प्लेस इज कॉल्ड एज डेजर्ट. अगर जनरल वे में देखा जाए तो हम लोग वह जगह जहाँ पे पानी नहीं होता है, कोई वेजिटेशन नहीं होता है, कोई प्लांट्स ग्रो नहीं करते हैं, तो दैट प्लेसेस वी कॉल अस एज डेजर्ट. तो उस जगह को हम लोग डेजर्ट कहते हैं. सम डेजर्ट आर ऑलमोस्ट टोटली विदाउट वाटर, एंड देयर आर सम डेजर्ट दैट इज टोटली विदाउट वाटर. कुछ ऐसे भी डेजर्ट होते हैं जहाँ पे बिना पानी के ही वो जगह होती है. In such place, strong winds blow rising heap of sand and depositing them as mounds. And that place, the strong winds are blow and collected the heap of sand, and that heap of sand is known as mounds. These are called sand dunes, and that heap of sand is called sand dunes. और उस जो सैंड का जो हिप बनता है उसको हम लोग सैंड ड्यून्स कहते हैं. एंड शिफ्ट एंड मूव इंडलेसली अक्रॉस द डेजर्ट, एंड दैट शिफ्ट एंड मूव इंडलेसली अक्रॉस द डेजर्ट. और वह चीज़ जो है उस डेजर्ट में वो इधर से उधर शिफ्ट होती रहती है. फ्यू प्लांट्स कैन सर्वाइव इन सच ड्राई शिफ्टिंग सैंड, एंड there are some plants are there that can survive in such dry shifting sands and that climate. Okay student, I hope you understand the first part in the very easy manner, and after that next I send the part 2.